Hi, I'm Janessa Finley with Fiercely Radiant Soul, and I am an energy practitioner or energy healer. And when I tell people that, the most common response I get from them is, "What is that?" So I'm here today to talk to you about how I embarked upon my journey with energy medicine and what it's done for me, what it can do for people in general, and what it is exactly. So I stumbled upon energy healing with a client that I was working with when I was a probation officer. And this client was just very abrasive and very challenging. And they did not believe in anything the court had mandated them to do, but they were going through the motions because they didn't want to go to prison. And so, in seeing their counselor for substance abuse treatment, they kept hitting such big barriers that the counselor, referred him to an energy practitioner because the counselor wasn't making any progress. And within one session, I noticed really big changes in his willingness and openness and attitude. And within 3 or 4 sessions, a very short amount of time, he was having very swift changes in his relationships and his mood, and he smiled more and he was happy and far less challenging in contesting what needed to be done. It was amazing, and I knew within that short amount of time that even though I didn't know what was going on in these sessions or really what this energy practitioner was doing, I wanted it in my life because I had been plagued by lots of things from really childhood time until about 30. And so I just was really at a point where I was managing the things that I was dealing with, and I wanted something more than that. And I had tried everything else, and so what did I have to lose? I just went in with an open mind and thought, well, if 1 or 2 things get better, that's good enough. And the things that changed for me were so dynamic and have given me an amazing, amazing life. So a few of those things that I was able to clear and heal through energy healing was anxiety and depression and panic attacks. And I also used to deal with insomnia and lack of sleep a lot, and I rarely am challenged to sleep through the night anymore. I also was able to heal various different stored traumas that I had experienced, and one specific example of that is that I was able to heal PTSD that I had from a car accident where I was T-boned in the driver's side door. And after that, I became the worst backseat driver ever. So if I wasn't driving, I didn't trust the person driving. And if I was driving, I didn't trust the people around me. So driving became very stressful, and it was something I had to face every single day. So I'm very thankful I was able to heal that. And I also was able to purchase a motorcycle a couple years ago and start riding, which was something that I had aspired to do for a long time, but I didn't feel comfortable being exposed so openly, dealing with the panic and the PTSD that I had, that I would have never been able to actually get into that hobby and feel safe on a motorcycle if it wasn't for the energy work I had done. I also was able to heal some immune system deficiencies that I had that led me to having bronchitis several times a year. And when mixed with asthma, it would take me a couple appointments with a doctor and at least 4 or 5 different medicines, steroids, antibiotics, inhalers to get me to get me over those symptoms I was experiencing. But I never got to the underlying thing because bronchitis would still consistently occur. I would go 6 months and get it again, or 4 months and have it again. So I have not been on an antibiotic since I started my energy healing journey, which is fantastic. I also had an eating disorder, and while I wasn't active in the eating disorder when I began my energy healing, I still had this really critical voice, and I lived each day for my workouts, and it was my job, and I had to do it. And I also was very obsessive over what I ate, and I've been able to remove that mindset entirely, and working out is just moving my body, and it's a pleasure and it's a joy. And eating is much healthier for me. I'm not controlling or restrictive. So I have seen a lot of great changes from working in the energy medicine field as I have, and even my family and those closest to you would tell me that my optimism and positivity has exponentially increased. I used to not always be a joy to be around, but they would say otherwise these days, which is fantastic. So all of these things are wonderful and they sound good, but what is energy healing? So energy healing treats the body, the being, holistically. So you're going to remove energy blocks, and when you do that, there's going to be a shift in your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional bodies. In contrast, if you have a pain in your knee and you go to the doctor, they might send you to physical therapy, they might give you an anti-inflammatory or a pain management med, but you're really only treating the pain in your physical body. But with energy medicine, we will get to the root of the issue of what's causing the pain, if that's something in your subconscious or if it's a trauma or whatever the case is. It's different for every individual, but using muscle testing, we're able to get information to know what is at the root of that. And then once we clear that, everything shifts, and not just your physical body shifts, all of your bodies shift. So you get a more clarity, or you feel happier, and you just, referring back to the probation client, you see much swifter changes because everything is shifting at the same time and you're not just isolating or pinpointing one thing. The other dynamic of energy healing, excuse me, is the conscious and subconscious. And I will create a different video going into detail about this, but our subconscious stores everything that our conscious mind is not able to process. And our conscious mind is only able to handle a handful of thoughts or so at one time. And so everything else in that experience is stored in our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is also responsible for controlling our body, our temperature, our respiration, our heartbeat. And so there's so many things going on in our subconscious mind, and we have no idea what's in there because we've only been taught to be aware of what's going on in our conscious. And so through muscle testing, we're able to access the imprints that are held in our subconscious mind and clear those so that they no longer affect how we make decisions in our conscious mind, because the defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms that we create are a product of what's stored in our subconscious mind. So some of the feedback I've gotten from the people I've worked with, and the most profound or feel-good one for me, is that it is life-changing. I have had clients that I've worked with call me within 15 minutes after their appointment and say, I don't yet know the extent of all of the great things I have from working with you, but thank you, because I can already tell that this is life-changing. They tell me that they're clearer, they're more focused, that they're lighter and brighter and happier and more optimistic. And I have also had people tell me that they didn't even realize the extent of a burden, a hardship, or an emotion, how that had on their life was so negative, until they removed it, because they had lived their practically entire life with the situation or this emotion or whatever the trauma was for the specific people. And until they stripped that away and removed it and felt a different experience, one of more positivity and lighter, happier being, they then became aware of how much the negativity that they were holding from those traumas were affecting them. So it's really amazing work. People also report that they have more energy and more ambition, and they are achieving their goals much more quickly. So do you have to have a physical ailment or anxiety or depression to do energy work or to benefit from it? You absolutely do not. A lot of people who experience the same patterns repeating in their life, whether it's relationships or careers, will come and do energy work and very quickly see changes in those relationships, or they start excelling in their career and meeting their goals. People who jump from job to job, not necessarily in a short amount of time, but just over a period of time with patterns repeating and the jobs ending in the same ways, or them feeling the same lack of fulfillment in each job, feel like they're not meeting their full potential, are able to see great changes and benefits from doing energy work. And the same thing with relationships. If we choose the same type of partners over and over and over and experience the same patterns, and the relationships end sort of for the same reasons from those same patterns with disappointment. The energy work can create changes and shifts in that as well, so we can cultivate more fulfilling and healthier relationships in our life. So I just want to mention that if you're not in the area, it's no big deal. I would still love to work with you. With the convenience of technology, I am able to work with people online through Zoom or Skype. So go ahead and give me a call or send me an email if you have any questions. I'd love to explain things in depth, or if you're ready to dive in and you think that this is something that you want to try, I would love to schedule a session with you. So I just, in closing, want to say that I think that we are all fierce souls put here to live out our purpose to a full potential and to shine fiercely light and love into the world. And so if you feel as though you're not living to your full potential, or you're not fulfilling or even know yet what your purpose is, I would love to embark upon the journey with you, and I would be honored to join you so that we can reach all the goals that you have. I look forward to hearing from you.